for the future. Just a little injury update. We did come out relatively clean for the most part. Okudah was evaluated for a concussion, but was cleared to return. And Hargrave had a chest rib contusion, whatever that is. But he could have came back if required. But we wanted to be smart with him. I thought Christian Darrisaw's snaps were absolutely outstanding, and he could have continued as well. But we had a mindset on kind of what we got from Christian today from a snap standpoint, and hopefully this is a big stepping stone for the future. Harrison Smith comes back and immediately puts his hands on a ball, tips it, and led to Zay's first touchdown on the pick six. And then, Andrew Van Ginkel with the 2 sacks coming back, being his reliable self in every way. I could go player after player, but today, and it's about those guys today, so I want to make sure I allow you guys to get back there and continue to talk to those guys about the win they just had.
How much of the turnovers can you attribute to personality of the defense? On the pick six, Rodriguez was at Browning's feet, Harrison tips it, Isaiah picks it off, and then Grenard throws it downfield.
Yeah, and it goes to Flo on the call. It goes to, there's probably 4 or 5 other guys that had in some way, shape, or form an impact, whether it's eating double teams, whether it's attacking with movement. Regardless of the call, I thought Flo called a tremendous game. I thought we had a great plan, mix it really well, and the guys made it come to life. So, but clearly when you can have your defense scoring 14 points and giving you opportunities as an offense, and then what I did like was our ability to, for the most part, turn those things around and execute. And when we didn't have penalties, I thought our offensive execution was pretty good. And to me, it's the pre-snap ones, new quarterback, new center, cadence, all those things. All those things can be excuses. They're not going to be. We've got to fix those things and be on the hunt to play even more consistent football for 60 minutes next week.
What were you seeing from Isaiah Rodgers behind the scenes that sort of led you to believe this is building?
Well, it starts, if I'm being 100% honest, it starts with, I can remember vividly the conversation with Brian Flores about him and the vision for the player, the vision pairing him with Murph and what we thought that could be like. Flo, I don't want to go through the time we've been together and those types of names when he's got that tone in his voice when he brings it to me and we collectively then collaborate with the personnel side. But Isaiah's on that list of guys, and the other ones that he's mentioned have turned out pretty darn well here, and then some of the guys that maybe went elsewhere, those guys have showed up well. So I think it's a matter of Flo's impact and his ability to have vision for players like we've seen here with 2 free agencies now where there's been an immediate impact on our team from some of these guys that show up and end up being great Minnesota Vikings for us.
Speaking of vision for a player, what did you see for Jordan Mason, and has he kind of met what you saw for him?
Exactly. You guys can feel the power he runs with. He's a really good 8-9 wide zone runner. He finds the space. He can put his foot in the ground. He can get north. And when he gets around the goal line, and we have the type of movement and some of our work up front that we had, both from our line and our tight ends, our receivers were involved in the plan today. Big time. I thought Adam Thielen was huge in the run game. Jalen Naylor, Justin Jefferson had some, blocks that you would have thought we threw an 80-yard touchdown with how the guys in the booth and some of the coaches were reacting. So the all-11 feel was there. Absolutely in our run game, and then I felt it as well, in our execution in the pass game. And there's some plays out there that we would, thought we could make, and we'll make those. We'll continue to grow as a unit. But Jordan Mason, I would have loved to get him more work, but it got to the point there where we wanted to be smart with him, and he got north of that 100 mark. He got in the end zone twice, and we were going to shut him down for the day.
Kevin, with Christian, what was the conversation like over the last week, getting him to the point where everybody felt good?
Yeah, I knew basically Wednesday's practice. He was the first guy to every drill, first guy in the huddle. Just a juice that, quite honestly, elevated our entire team. I told him I told him out on the field, if there's ever a question of what a franchise left tackle means to an organization, I think we felt it today. I think we felt it throughout the week. I think the confidence level that his teammates had, our quarterback had, was felt, and that's really what guys like CD at the top tier of their position in the NFL do to football teams. And I knew early in the week we would have a chance, but at the same time, it was always going to be a process. The work from the start of his rehab from the moment he had the procedure to now. I could get emotional talking about it just because I'm there every day and I see it. I see the journey that this guy's been on, and the love of football and the love of his teammates every single day working back to this moment. Probably I loved giving Will Reichert and Isaiah Rodgers and Carson Wentz game balls, but that was by far my most, the most memorable one that I've had in a long time, just because of the personal one-on-one kind of journey from that moment late in the second quarter against the Rams on Thursday night to right now, and watching him do what he did today, and he will only build on it, but I think I'm just so proud of him.
Is this what you envisioned when you signed Carson as the veteran backup? And I know you didn't necessarily want to see him, but you did.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is Carson, whether it was the Thursday practice, Atlanta week he stepped in, or having all the reps all week long. I think he's learning with the type of people in that huddle with him. If he just takes the right footwork, does his job, runs the show, there's going to be people to throw the ball to. We're going to be able to be efficient. And once we rectify the penalty being something that gets in our way from success, we will have a chance to be a complete offense. And I think he felt that. And he just, felt like he could go out there and execute. And I thought he gained kind of confidence and settled down as the game went on. And really proud of him. That's, this is the vision you have for sure, to answer your question. And I thought that his poise, his calmness, and his do your job kind of effectiveness as the quarterback provided poise for everybody in that huddle.
Yeah, and I know he sees Zay's speed pretty much every day in practice.
Yeah.
You were pretty confident when he got the ball in his hands both times that he was going to be able to take it all the way?
Oh, I mean, it was I just know this guy is begging to return kicks, and he's begging to go back there. But as I've told him many times, you're going to score this year. And he told me in the locker room, he's like, Coach, you said I was going to score. I said, I wasn't telling you something you didn't know. We just had to get your hands on the ball. And then he's a problem when he's got it, because he's got natural running instincts. And the guys know when number two, catches that ball, that there's going to be some there's reasons to go put a hat on somebody and block, because all he needs is a crease, and he's going to be a tough guy to catch for sure.
Do you remember what Flo saw specifically with him that maybe other people hadn't seen from a coverage corner?
Well, I think he saw sticky coverage. I think he saw a guy that, was growing from a standpoint of being able to project his fit with how we would use him, specifically when he's that kind of field corner. And then we wanted to pair that with a, big physical body like Jeff Okudah, who did a lot of good things today as well. And then that allows Murph to really be what we need Murph to be, incredibly impactful inside, outside, the flex of all that. But yeah, it was a combination of a lot of things. And then, we sat down and watched him. And quite frankly, I was pretty surprised that we were going to have a legitimate chance to get him. And I think that's sometimes teams have, whether they've drafted, a couple DBs in the first round, and they, have a veteran player, like the team Zay was on. But I know that he's been impactful wherever he's ever been. It's the consistency of getting the opportunity, and what a performance today, just spectacular.
Does a kick like that from Will change how far you might be willing to let him try?
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw it. It was to hit it 62, darn near halfway up the net is something else. And I got so much confidence in Will, it's almost dangerous, because you start seeing, okay, they give me lines before the game of make it, take it, all that stuff. I normally add two, or I scratch it out and add 2 or 3 to it, to either number. But thought it was just a nice way of capitalizing, getting points off that last turnover. I'd kind of told Flo, hey, all the timeouts are yours. Let's get a stop here, and then we'll come out and get another stop and keep the momentum going. And then all of a sudden we had an op, and wish we didn't get the penalty on 1st and 10 there. Christian was going to go in and get retaped to be able to come back out. That was the only reason why he missed that sequence of snaps right there, because he was excited to get in and make sure he was ready to come back out. And roll, and we got called for our left tackle being lined up too far back, which seemed to be something that probably both sides were getting warned about throughout the day. It was unfair to Blake. It's his first snap really in there, and they call him for it. But that's the rules. That's the way. It's very clear to us that's what happens. But it would have nice to see, hey, a little drive starter, little trick play there, and then see where we could have maybe gone from that with all of our timeouts left. But we got the 3 points and carried that momentum through the second half.
Would you have let him go from 62 if he hadn't run out of time?
Say that again?
Would you let him go from 62 any other time during the game if you weren't up against the clock?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'd be right on that number. The big thing is, you're thinking about throughout the game, is it a fourth and is it a green on our charts to maybe go for it? The way Ryan Wright's been punting the ball and our gunners are consistently showing up at the shoelaces of the returners. Like sometimes then field position in a game sometimes, especially with your defense playing like that leads into it. But there's going to be times where Will's going to hit that kick in a really close game, and it could be to win it. It could be to be the 3 points we need to win it. It could come early on in the game if it presents itself, and that's the kind of confidence that I have in him.
Kevin, Carson has a ton of experiences, good and bad, in this league. I mean, you talk about his poise. Can you feel just him drawing on everything that he's been through as he goes through a practice, as he goes through the game?
So smart, has an understanding of exactly who he is as a player at this point. And look, I know that we write a lot of narratives about these guys, good and bad, and we use those words very quickly in many ways. But listen, the last couple of years he's played in Week 17 for two really good football teams. In many ways, with a lot of the starters resting right alongside the starting quarterback, and he goes out there and competes. And when you go back and you really go back over the timeline, when he's been given really good opportunity, normally he's played really good football. And I've always been a fan of his. He's big, he's strong, he's smart. He commands, and I was not, I told him, when we took him out of the game, I was the least surprised person in the whole building today, that he was able to go out there and effectively run our offense. And I think there's a reason why he came here. He had a lot of, opportunities potentially, and going through the plan, probably the most fun part was we were trying to, make sure he was comfortable with everything we were doing. We did some things that were new for us, but very comfortable for him. Some RPO type plays, some different things that he made come to life throughout the week and then showed up on game day. But at one point he said, "Coach, the reason why I came here is this system and you guys and our players and the guys I get to be in the huddle with. So you fire away and let's rock." And that was probably, as exciting of anything throughout the week, because then at that point I knew the trust was there. We clearly trusted him to go play football, and he did so many good things today. And I think he'd be the first one to tell you that there's even more, comfort now that he's kind of gone through a full week, played a game, and now he'll get another opportunity here.
Last two. You mentioned getting another opportunity. You go in. I assume that means go into the week with planning for him to start.
Yeah, see, the thing about JJ's, he's got his high ankle. He's responded well to the early part of the treatment, but for a young player, I want to make sure that he's healthy, especially a guy with the movement skills that he has and has clearly shown in his first two opportunities. We're going to do right by him and make sure. Listen, this guy probably would have tried to go today and be, out there doing whatever he could. I mean, nothing that he wants more than to be back out there with his teammates. But at the same time, he was so supportive of Carson all week. I thought Josh McCown did a phenomenal job getting Carson ready to go, leaning on their experiences previously together, and finding that balance of allowing me to have my time with him as well, so that on game day that dynamic could help us win. So look, this was we wanted to win a football game, get the taste of last Sunday at home out of our mouth with another unbelievable performance by our fans. You felt them all day long, and that I call it feed the energy at the bank, man. Our team knows how important it is to do that, because our fans never let us down when we're able to give them things to get excited about. And can't wait to get back here. It's going to be a while, but can't wait to get back here for our next opportunity we can in front of our fans.
Well,
Thank you.